Hi everybody, this is Matt and we're back with another TrackMania video. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about all of the custom items I built on this track and also all the custom items I downloaded from TrackMania Exchange and used on this track. I'll link to all of the item sets, including the ones I built, in the description of the video. So let's jump into it. And we're going to start at the beginning of the track, which is right here. So right at the beginning, we have a GPS label, which is custom. And then we also have these boosters. So the whole point of me building this track is I wanted to have this start where you have these mini boosters kind of embedded in the track and you kind of like curve between them and get kind of like a precision full speed track. So this item, I already have a tutorial on how to build it, which I'll link in the description as well. So this is essentially an item with a booster block section embedded right on it. We also have this tiny booster that you can kind of, that's 2 meters tall and you can kind of place anywhere. So I'll link that as well. The next custom item we built is over here on this first transition. So I wanted a smooth transition from this road to the grass here. And it's very similar to, let's see, so it's this block. So it's very similar to this block, but it's kind of stretched further. So I'll show you guys how we built that. So I'll just place it right here and we'll place it in hover mode. So go to item mode and then create new item from selected block and select it. Go into geometry mesh and click on the settings here. So now we have our block. We can delete the collisions layer by clicking on it and hitting delete. And then we're just going to modify this geometry layer. So click on the face here to highlight just the face and click copy selection, hit Control A and delete, set the tool step to 0, and then click paste selection. And it won't let you move what you pasted because the tool step is 0. So it perfectly places it in the right spot. The next thing we want to do is move the selection to ground. So you can see it's slightly above the origin. So we're just going to move that to the ground. Then we're going to click on scale and use the 10% scale, and we can so you can do whatever kind of scale you want, but this would let you stretch it. So essentially you can line it up with your track and figure out, well, how much of a slope do I need? And for now, I'll just go right here. The next thing we want to do is extrude it. So we actually have, so you don't have to do this part necessarily, but we're going to extrude it vertically. Let's see, 2 meters. So hit Control A and extrude. So Control A to select all, click on extrude selection and go upwards along the green axis. So the tool step is set to 2. So if we just do kind of 1 notch, it's going to be 2 meters. And then the next thing we have to do is apply our material. So you click on the paint tool and then we went over to, so you can do any one you want. We did custom grass, hit Control A, selected one of the green ones and click apply material to selection. And so that created our nice green grass slope, just like that. So then we'll just save it. And then you can go edit the placement parameters, set the horizontal size to 32 and the vertical size to 8. And that will make it a little bit easier to place. And then just go ahead and save it. And so that's how we made this sloping block. The next thing we have on this track, so after we go around the turn here, we have this booster, which this actually came from the other tutorial that I made, but I wanted to show everyone just why I made this. So like on a normal flow of the track, you drive through here and just make the jump and there you go. But let's say, for example, you like botched this, this checkpoint in, like on Cup of the Day, you wouldn't actually be able to make this jump. And so we have this booster here that for that small scenario, you can actually get back up to speed a little more easily for Cup of the Day. So that was the idea behind that booster. It also makes for really nice decoration here to have kind of a cool item block like that. So that block is in that tutorial that is linked in the description. The next thing we have is this magnet block. So one thing I really like to do when you have a jump is when you jump here, you want to have the landing higher than the jump. And the reason for that is because if you have it at the same height, you're going to get a lot more airtime. And jumps are really fun, but airtime gets really old when you're trying to optimize the track. So why spend 3 seconds of your track in the air when you can have the same jump and spend maybe 1 second of the track in the air and then get back to the racing? So I often like to put landings higher than the jump. The problem with that is if you don't have a lot of speed, then you might shorten the jump, like you might jump short. And that's why it's really nice to put these types of magnet blocks right before the jump, because you can land in the middle of this with less speed and still drive the track more smoothly, which really helps when you're learning it or going through the track the first time. So this magnet is from an item set on TrackMania Exchange. The next one we have are some custom platforms. So this one, I guess I can click on these and show a little bit, but this one is from the Platform Extensions 2. This one is from, I think, Platform Extensions 4. So there's all of these really cool platform extensions you can have, and I'll, again, linked in the description. So the next part of the track that we have that's custom is over here. And so essentially, I think this type of transition is really popular, where you have a sausage track and you're transitioning to either an item like this or maybe one of these tall ones. And you kind of use the free placement mode to line it up with the sausage. So you get kind of a really nice smooth transition, whether you're in the middle or on either side of the sausage. And so what I wanted to do was I wanted to have a turn here, and I was trying to figure out, well, if I have this here, let's say I went like this, and then I had it like that. The problem is it's not a very smooth turn, even if I like filled this in, because you're on this bank and then you want to go on this bank, which means you have to go kind of flat in between. And so this took a lot of trial and error to figure out like what kind of transition would work well here. And I'll just drive it quickly to show how it looks with that custom item, and then I'll show how to build the item. So this transition is pretty smooth from sausage to the slope. And then you can see that it actually, because it goes from kind of banked to even more banked, you can make this turn really easily and then land on the grass. So how I made this one was just with the deformation tool. So we started off kind of similar. So let's say we started off with this block, and we basically just took the top face and deformed it and then turned it. So we'll go and do that now. So we'll go to item mode and create new item from selected block, and we'll go back, jump in and select this top face, copy it, hit Control A and delete, set the tool step to 0, and then we can paste selection right back to where it was. So if we double click on this, we can see that it already has the subdivisions we need. And so we can hit Control A and then deformation, and essentially, so we'll set the tool step to 2 meters. And so essentially we clicked on this green dot to deform it along the blue axis, and then we dragged it along the red axis. And so you can see this is kind of an S-bend now. And so to make it a turn, you click on this dot on the edge so you can drag it. And you'll see that it changes colors when it hits 90 degrees. So we dragged it 90 degrees, and then we wanted this bank to be more banked than what it was. So we clicked on this one in the top corner, dragged it up until we had a nice bank. And that's essentially how I created that slope. So you can see that it becomes more banked as the turn goes on, which makes it super easy to drive. And then it kind of has a unique feel to it. So that's how I made this item. I'll go ahead and just save this. And as always, update your placement parameters and it'll just be easier to place. So the next set of custom items we made, so we made one of these platforms extra large, and maybe this wasn't necessary, but I thought it kind of like smooth out it and make the track a little easier to drive at high speed. So we essentially took this item and scaled it up. One thing to note is that this is essentially twice as tall and twice as wide as the previous item. If we just had scaled it, we still wanted this to be 2 meters thick. So if you just took this and scaled it up by 2, then it will actually be 4 meters thick. And so we had to do a similar thing to what we did with the other items. And we'll go ahead and show this in the mesh. Is essentially you just want to select, or actually delete the collision layers, go into geometry and select the top face, hit copy, Control A and delete, set the tool step to 0, hit paste, click right there. So now we have the shape we want, and we can click on this move selection to ground to move it down. And so now now it's just a face. We can size it to any size we want and then extrude it by 2 meters. So let's say we click on the scale and hit select, like we selected everything, we scaled it up to kind of some whatever crazy shape we wanted. So let's say I wanted something that looked like that. And then you would hit Control A, hit extrude selection, set the tool step to 2 meters, and we can extrude it along the green axis, just like 1 notch up. And now we'll have it to be 2 meters thick. So it'll match up perfectly with all the other blocks. And then, as always, we want to apply our material. So hit Control A, select a material. In this case, I use custom grass, so I'll just click on that and apply it. But you can use any material you want. And then that's essentially our bend. So I'll go and save it, or kind of our flat to banked slope. So there we go. And this one is, of course, totally a different size. So the next thing we have are these turns. So this was in this, I guess, the Soupskiesel like all items pack, which has a bunch of awesome items, including these flat checkpoints. So this one was also in the Soupskiesel set. So, and along with these big turns. Then the next thing we have are some more interesting bank turns from the platform extensions. And then essentially that's it. Then the rest, the end and the rest of the track are all default items. So those were all the custom items that I've made on this track. If you want to see the author time, it's also linked in the description. Hopefully this was interesting and helpful to see kind of how you can create custom items to smooth out your route when you want something close to one of the built-in items, but that's just not quite smooth enough for what you're looking for. Thanks everybody for watching. Let me know if you build any tracks based on any of my videos or tutorials, because I'd love to play and grind them. And yeah, thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your day.